I actually just finished watching Universe 25. Wow. It is such an interesting watch. Where did the idea for this kind of a sci-fi religious horror story come from?
It came out of the feelings that were lingering right after COVID-19 hit the world. And I think during COVID-19, we saw many um, things that could very well exist in the Old Testament.
Mhm.
Like, it wouldn't have been unrealistic. It wouldn't have been a surprise to anyone if during COVID-19 someone turned up and
Mhm.
decided to part the seas, for example. There were so many scenes, and one particular scene that shocked me and stayed with me forever
Mhm.
was aerial footage of these mass graves being
Mhm.
buried in around the Brooklyn area. I don't know if you saw that footage,
Yes.
but they were burying bodies there, and I thought, oh my goodness, where are we? And it was that image stayed with me, and I thought, well, we are in biblical times.
Hmm.
And then I've 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 worked in the technology space for a lot of I'm very interested in everything that's happening. I think that uh, when you bring technology into the mix, it kind of reignites these old stories from a different point of view, different angle. So there seems to be a resonance when you I like combining themes and combining stories, and sort of it's like chemical combustion. When you combine two elements, you get a reaction. So
Hmm.
I was interested in combining something very old, like a religious ancient story, with something very new, like a sci-fi technology plot. Yeah.
Definitely. What was the process in casting your main star? Because he really captivated, and I think he really encapsulates I don't know, an eeriness to this the main character.
I like that you say that he's eerie because he calls himself a hyper
Uh-huh.
intelligence at the very beginning. And I think when we encounter AI and we encounter interactions with artificial intelligence, it does feel quite eerie as
Hmm.
a word. Um, so that was very serendipitous, really. He was a friend of mine. He's a filmmaker, and I always liked working with him, and I liked just making stuff with him. And I actually invited him originally to shoot this with me.
Hmm.
So he started shooting exteriors and the scenes with myself and Elodie. He shot those. And then, I was looking around behind the camera, kept looking around to him and thinking, he's amazing. And I knew he
Hmm.
was an actor as well. He had a background in acting. He took it very seriously. So I thought, yeah, let's put you in front of the camera and see how it goes. And the moment he went in there, I thought, yeah, this is our lead. This is the character we need
Hmm.
throughout the story. So that's how it happened.
Definitely. I don't think I've seen somebody encapsulate a kind of modern biblical person since maybe Christopher Walken in The Prophecy. It kind of had that feel of he belongs in this type of scenario.
Wow.
How how thrilled are you that he said, first of all, that he said yes after having helped you, and
Mm.
that he was really able to take this material to a whole different level.
Yeah. Well, it was quite a leap of faith, and it was quite a big ask because I was asking him to come on the journey with me,
Hmm.
and we didn't have much money. He ended up co-producing with me, and he um, created that character as
Hmm.
much as I did. That character we both feel we've created, and but it came from him and his body and his face and his
Hmm.
voice. Um, So so I'm not sure what the question was. Oh, how pleased I'm immensely pleased. And I don't think I think he was perfectly suited for the role. And I think that the character found him in a way,
Hmm.
chose him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and your the atmosphere that you guys shot in is so perfect for him because he seems like he fits in, but at the same time, he seems like an observer. He seems a little bit like a wallflower. Were these originally the places that you guys wanted to film at? And what was the scouting process like for these locations?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, that was how he was initially intended to be was to serve as a witness
Hmm.
to our world, to have a neutral witness to our world, like a wallflower, as you say. In terms of scouting and locations, I really wanted to offer, because we didn't have much money, I wanted to offer visual variety through the locations.
Hmm.
And I'm a native Londoner. I'm born in London, and I've lived and walked the streets of London, all different parts of London since I was a kid. And I felt like I wanted to show London in a way that I haven't. Well, there are some films that show it in that way, but not not many contemporary films. So I wanted to show London from my point of view, show locations that hadn't been seen. For example, Dartford Bridge, where we have that moment with the underneath the bridge with the
Hmm.
crucifix and stuff. Um, so I already had this stock of sort of locations in my head, and then I would just walk around constantly and take note of locations. And I'm always scouting. Whenever I'm walking around,
Hmm.
I'm scouting. I'm always sort of spotting things, buildings, and interesting. Especially here in LA, I'm seeing some amazing structures.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's just an ongoing thing for me, and I think for most filmmakers, they're always got their eye out for that.
Definitely. And going with the story, the pacing is very intense. Is that purposefully, or is that just the way you adapted with his acting?
Mm. I think a lot of that pacing, I have to give credit to Tommaso Galloni, my editor, who, the way that we shot it and the way that it was directed and the way that I was feeling it was, it was quite like as if we were sinking into a slow movie.
Hmm.
But then I didn't want to make a slow film. And I feel that this slow cinema has been sort of done to death now, and it's almost a cliche of art house cinema. So I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make a film that was had a lot of pace and
Hmm.
was actually quite fast. Um, but Tommaso really made that happen in a way that wasn't jarring
Hmm.
and that felt fluid. Because with the rushes that we had, you could make a very slow film out of that if you wanted to, you know.
Hmm. Definitely. And to add to that, the music in the background is very purposeful. It seemed very adequate. At times, it almost felt like a silent film that you added dialogue to. Where did that music come from, and how was it brought to you before starting to shoot, or is it something that you created specifically for this film?
Yeah, I mean, so my background, this is my first feature-length film. My background, my way into the industry is a composer, and I am a composer. So I
Mhm.
wrote the music for the
Oh.
film, and it's okay because I don't make a big deal of it in the credits. It's just in the end
Mhm.
titles, but because I don't want that to be a feature. The music, it doesn't matter who wrote it; it should just
Mhm.
work. It just happened to be me.
Mhm.
but yeah, I feel that, the way cinema was born was in silent cinema.
Mhm.
And that in a way is like the purest form of visual storytelling. You got your images, your moving images, and then you've got your music. And you have title cards in
Mhm.
silent film. And some people consider that, some filmmakers consider that like a very pure form of a pure moment for cinema. So I wanted to do something similar where I wanted to bring music back into
Mhm.
a primary function of the storytelling. And as you say, yes, sometimes there's quite little dialogue and it's just images and music. So that was always the intention.
Mhm.
I consider the film like a musical drama in a way, a music driven movie.
Definitely, and I don't want to spoil much, but there's a little duet in this that is
Yeah.
really emotional and impactful. Where did those lyrics come from, and you know, how thrilled are you that you got two amazing actors who were able to really capture this emotion?
Yeah. Well, again, it was only after getting deep into the film and working with Giacomo and seeing his abilities and seeing what he was capable of and where he was so open as an actor. And it's a joy to work with someone where you can go places
Mhm.
with. That's the director's dream. and he was willing to go places. And so when I realized he was, I said, "Why don't we try a song and see how it
Mhm.
goes?" And I knew he was very musical. I could tell he was musical. He was always listening to music, singing songs. So, and then when it took a while to write the song and for the song to sort of settle, like a couple, I wouldn't know how long, but it wasn't an easy song to write, let's say. It didn't just come
Mhm.
out. It was like, it took a bit of time. And then when I showed him the song and he started singing it, I was like, "You've got this." But he was nervous about it because he was
Mhm.
singing in front of camera in a musical, and he was not sure about his vocal ability. But I knew that he has a lovely singing voice, and the
Mhm.
same with Anna Maria Garan. And both of their voices together, the duet, it works so well. Um, it was tricky to get. First I had to write the song, then the melodies,
Mhm.
then I had to find lyrics that were appropriate to tell the story, and it became a little bit like the lyrics aren't really like normal pop lyrics. It's more
Mhm.
like a libretto because they actually say story stuff. They
Mhm.
reveal their feelings, and there's like one chorus. It's just a verse and a chorus.
Mhm.
It doesn't continue into, because that's my problem with a lot of musicals is that they stay with a normal song structure. But for movies, I think that doesn't work.
Mhm.
So I wanted to like make my point of how I feel musicals can be if the song is written for the screen, you know.
Mhm.
So it was my little attempt, and I'd love to do more of it. I'd love to write a musical, you
Mhm.
know.
Oh, I would love to see that because this duet really was very tender. It was very adequate to where the story is going. It progressed very well. Um,
Thank
for you as a composer and now as a director, was there any obstacles in directing not just this scene but the entire movie and keeping it moving forward?
Oh, I mean, so many, so many. Halfway through the film, we ran out of steam, we ran out of money, and it was difficult to carry on. And obviously, we hadn't cut the thing, so I really didn't know. I still didn't know really until this premiere if the film worked. Sometimes I still feel like it doesn't work. Um, so I was thinking, what sort of hellish situation have I got myself into here?
Mhm.
So there was a lot of that type of feeling. But then whenever we were on set and we were shooting and we were working on the scene, I always felt good about what we were doing.
Mhm.
So when we were in the work, it was never when I was in the work that I felt doubt. It was only outside. Um, the actual thing became a bit addictive for all of
Mhm.
us because we were shooting and stopping as money came and went. And I think we all improved as the process went forward. Um, so yeah, it was challenging from a emotional point of view, from a financial point of view, from just a believing in yourself point of view. This was like a 3.5 year production. But you just, I think, have to push through that, and
Mhm.
you have to finish it for the sake of finishing it. I accepted that. I was like, okay, I just got to finish this, and
Mhm.
it might not work, you know.
Definitely. And now after all the struggle, you had your world premiere at Slam Dance. How did you feel about the reaction, and how do you feel just being here in LA premiering a film?
It's a dream come true, to be honest. It really is. It's
Mhm.
wild. We're in the home of movies. You can feel it in the air. You can hear it when you talk to people. People's film culture here is
Mhm.
much richer than in London.
Mhm.
Uh, the references people know, the names, and it's just embedded into the culture in a way that I feel kind of like I'm home in a
Mhm.
way. Um, And the film, it feels like a perfect festival to premiere the film.
Mhm.
When you look at the history of programming, and they just showed debut feature films made under 1 million. I mean, it's Slamdance is a true independent film festival that represents
Mhm.
independent directors. Um, so it's a great honor to be here, and it's just it was a wild surprise for us. And I'm here now at the DGA, the Directors Guild of America. We have a screening today at 3 p.m. And that, yeah, it's crazy.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on all this. It is a fantastic film, beautiful story, well told. Congratulations, and thank you very much for your time.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Jesus.